All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kevin Lindsay. I'm joined by the one and only Mike. Is it Johnston or Johnson?
With a T without an E, Johnston.
Johnston. We are going to be providing your live commentary for this finals. So it's a little confusing, but Andy Haas is king of the hill.
No, Paul Luna's king of the hill.
Paul Luna's king of the hill, excuse me. Yes. Wow, that didn't take long.
Andy Haas is a good player.
So it is a best-of-5 series for the final. But in the instance that Andy Haas wins,
if he takes the first series, it's like any other thing. Andy's coming up from the loser bracket, so they play another best-of-5.
Yes.
So there's a potential for 10 matches here,
right,
guys.
So
and with this level of play, it's
we might get out of here at 6:30 or 10:30.
Right.
We're not sure yet, but
Brandon Brunell's going to keep feeding me talent juice. I'm going to go from there.
There you go. I believe Richard King is also working on a mic that will be near Luna and Haas. So
very nice.
We'll get to hear all the chatter. Oh, gosh.
For the record, yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, this is a repeat of last year's final, which was unbelievably epic. And they had a match that went like 55 holes or something stupid.
Yeah, it was. So, Josh Mertzig was telling me that earlier. And
I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you have the comments pulled up there?
Nope.
Do you know how to do that?
Nope.
I certainly don't.
No, I do. Come on, you're talking to me.
All right.
Possible 10 matches, hell no. Yeah.
What we got there?
Oh,
this guy's pretty good. So,
wow, this guy, Andy Haas, two-time world champion, 2008 and 2016 world champion. It's ironic because you mentioned this is a rematch of last year's Indy Open finals, but it's also a rematch from the 2016 Golden Tee World Championship.
Absolutely.
So these guys have played a lot together over the years.
In high-pressure matches.
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah,
this is, I mean,
except when you're Andy Haas and you hole out 2 by hole 3.
And he's kind of got that, like, you know, I've maybe been 2 better through 3 on this course once, and of course 4 is not drivable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Of course. I mean, so Jim Zielinski's got the magic code in there somewhere to make sure that all the records aren't broken.
Yeah, exactly.
On these courses.
Oh, wow.
So at this point, you're Paul. You know, you're 2 strokes down, and you're on hole 4. So what's your mindset? I mean, are you going for every pin?
No, absolutely not. I think you just play your game the way it is. You know, I was talking earlier on commentary when we were going through some of the matches earlier. You know, these guys are so good. But match play is match play. Even though they've been in a lot of high-profile matches, I'm sure there's still nerves when it comes down to it, to a certain degree. And these courses can set up either really easily, or they can be really hard. And so we've seen a lot of matches over the years, or actually in the last couple months on these courses, specifically where the tide has turned in a matter of like a 16th or 17th hole, it sets up poorly. Yeah. So I think Luna just plays his game. And the way he is,
he's more than capable of doing the same thing that Andy just did, which is hole out twice in a 3-hole period there, and that's where we are right now. So
absolutely,
Andy's up 1 after that, and that's exactly what we were just talking about.
I blame you. He started talking about it, and then whoop, he lost a stroke. So
don't blame me. Blame me for my rounds today, not for anybody else's.
No, but that's exactly why I was saying you just play. Luna just goes and plays his game the way he does.
I mean, he's good at player. He knows exactly where he needs to be on all these holes. And like you said, I mean, the pressure is always going to be existent. I mean, there's money on the line, there's pride on the line, there's a lot of things that these guys want to.
Can we just talk about this terrible picture that Richard King took of me on Friday? of me and you.
That's not good.
It's literally, every once in a while, Richard King takes terrible pictures of me, and I always over-exaggerate my expressions. And unfortunately, this was perfect.
I mean, you can see my third chin in that picture, which is not that
yes,
great.
so, actually, now that I see that, it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I'm sure Adam and Scott and Don see this picture and the beautiful, incredible Technologies logo and go, wow, this guy looks like a fool.
So, we got a while on the mic here. So we still got Andy up 1, Paul with the honors now. And this is a hole that sometimes sets up with a second shot, normally a 3-wood or a 5-wood, where you can be aggressive with it and try to hole it out. But on the IT side, what are you most excited about with these new courses coming up?
I've had this conversation a few times this weekend. I've been playing a lot of 2018 as we got the course trailer footage ready. And if you haven't seen those trailers yet, go to Golden Tee Golf on Facebook and check out the courses. Obviously, Dubai, our first night course in the 29-year history of Golden Tee. Jim Zielinski, course designer for the last 29 years and co-creator Golden Tee. Obviously, he's good at what he does after all these years. And him and the team of artists we have, they made this night course look beautiful. It's always a change when you go from all 60 plus courses of daylight, and then you flip the switch and try to. Obviously, you need to make a golf course viewable in the dark, so you can't turn the lights off exactly all the way. But the way the water.
What did you just kick?
I dropped my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy is pretty coordinated over here. He can't talk and hold a phone at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Richard. No, I'm trying to see. It says I'm trying to actually work. Post on Golden Tee's Facebook page, talk to you. Pictures of you, pictures of me, that one song, whatever it is. But I try. Spending so much time making the player cards.
Big shout out again to Old Pros Table and Game Time Amusements for putting on this Indy Open. If you get a chance to come to any of these, they might not be the PEGT sanctioned tournaments, but there's a lot of tournaments. I know there's some coming up on the West Coast, East Coast coming up. So if you get a chance to go to this and improve your game, this is the best way to do it. You get to play games with these guys against these guys that are playing right now.
Yeah, and good thing about these guys is that all these guys, as good as they are, especially on a Thursday or Friday night, will always take the time out to play with newer players, show them the shots, show them the tricks, how to shape shots, and do what these guys do on these live streams in these.
Paul Luna has an amazing ping pong ball trick. Has he showed you that? No?
I'm going to go back to Chicago right now.
All right. Okay. I got this.
Oh, wow.
That was a rolling shot.
Yeah, but no, I don't even remember what I was saying.
That's fine.
Oh, 2018.
But Dubai. Yeah. Dubai does look cool.
Dubai looks really nice. It's beautiful.
Looks like there's some tiered greens.
Oh, yeah. That's. I'm excited for that because tiered greens in Golden Tee 4 were terrible. Absolutely terrible. It ruined a lot of people's games, including mine as a
I think the last one I remember is Jack Rabbit had that tiered green par 3.
Yes, Jack Rabbit did. Yeah,
it's the last one I remember.
It's been a couple of years since they've had it. I will say that I was shocked that Jim Z did not put as many tiered greens in these courses as I expected him to.
Yeah, that was kind of a thing he was thinking about.
I had a feeling that he was going to go all out with it. And not get too crazy, but there's a couple of them on Dubai specifically. One of them you can see on the course trailer where I made a hole-in-one after 36 mulligans. But it looked good in the trailer.
Well done, Kevin.
Thank you.
Let's check back in on this match, and we'll get back to talking about 2018 in a second. But we've got, once again, Andy Haas and Paul Luna playing in the championship match here, which is a race to 3 wins. If Luna were to be the one who wins this 3 out of 5 setup, he will be the Indy Open champion. And I did see the comment about the payouts. I'm working on getting that information for you right now. I'm not entirely sure. I know there was $6,000 added very generously through Game Time Amusements, Old Pros Table, and a lot of outside help as well. So we appreciate everybody that helped out with that. And that's what's great about these tournaments when you get local sport and everything like that going on.
Everything was great this weekend. The one thing I absolutely dislike is the fact that I've seen Paul Luna's face about 1,000 times this weekend.
On the machines?
On the machines, on the banners, on the posters. I know. There was somebody printed out a picture of his head.
All right, so that's a moment in the match right there.
Yeah, but no, everything's been great, and happy to be here, happy to play, happy to see these guys, you know, enjoying the commentary team. I know Adam Kramer was disappointed he couldn't make it out this year. He was unfortunately stuck in Vegas for work, so, you know, it was a real tough time for Adam.
Unfortunately, the Mets are 10 under 500, and he didn't want to show his face to talk to a Braves fan, and that's fine. All right, so we got the Skippy 2-iron, and that was almost an incredible shot. So
you know, I'm getting tired of the fact that these guys keep hitting shots that are so ridiculous that I think I'm going to have to change shots of the week before they go live tonight.
So, yeah, let's. Who actually gets to pick the shots of the week? Is it you guys like have like a board meeting on like Monday morning, and you're like, all right, so we're gonna go through these, or they just let you do it?
No, actually,
they actually trust your judgment on that?
Adam Kramer's been doing it for the last 8 years. Or so it seems. And this week, so the shots you'll see on the games later tonight, going into next week, is the first set that I chose for shots of the week. So one of those things Adam is kind of passing on to me. But, you know, we share shots with the entire team, you know, a couple times a week. You know, you just see some of these shots, you go, what, how?
Exactly.
What's that?
Exactly. Like,
yeah, you see shots that you're like,
that's not a real thing.
You know, the best is to see and hear Jim Z's reaction of, wow, I can't believe these guys are hitting these shots on these holes. But, you know, if you hit a good shot, if you hit a great shot, you hit a hole in one, you have a hole out, you know, share your shots on social media. Share them on Golden Tee Golf's Facebook page. Share them on the Golden Tee Fan or Golden Tee Home Edition Facebook groups. You know, we go through, I'd say Adam said he's probably seen a couple million Golden Tee great shots over the years, and I don't doubt him one bit.
There we go. We got a hole out,
Andy.
and Andy is at this point, I think we'd call this on a heater. He is 24 through 14, which is just absurd.
But not unlike Andy Haas.
And no, not at all. And you know, like you said, I mean, Paul's capable of making this shot too. I mean, this match still isn't over. But, you know, at this point, the cool thing about this format, and I like what they did here at OPTs and with Game Time, was they made this a race to 3. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you don't have your best round, or if somebody else just gets on an unholy run,
like
you've
Andy's
still got you still have a shot.
Yeah.
And
especially with this being a 5-game.
Yeah, so they're gonna, you know, if this goes all 5 games, guys, they're gonna have to play all 5 courses. So they can't play the same course twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That I did not know.
You kind of get to see them play on all the courses. So, you know, there's certain guys that excel on certain courses. Well, if you get lucky and you spend that same course 3 times, you know.
Yeah, that's...
Grant Kinsler, Pelican comes to mind. I mean, just guys that were just unreal good at one particular course. That's not going to happen here. They're going to have to play a different course every time. So that should be fun.
You know, the one thing I wish they would have done was allowed players to play Classic Course of the Week. I love. It's just fun to see like some of these guys react to.
Speaking of that, what is next week's course? Do you know?
Absolutely not. It's
we'll know in a couple hours, right?
Yes. Yeah. It will change around. Well, actually.
1 a.m. 1 a.m. Indiana time.
12
a.m. Chicago time. Yeah. On. Just turn me off. There we go. We're back.
I was adjusting the mic. I didn't want to in people's ears, but I already did it. So, yeah. So Luna's down a couple strokes here.
Down 3 to play.
But you know, Pine, hole 18 is anybody's game.
I would say this is a course where obviously it's a scoreable course. The idea was to give you a couple holes where you can really take advantage of it if the conditions set up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but also make it that the last 4 holes were incredibly challenging if the wind, once again, depending on the conditions, and there can be a 2-3 stroke swing.
Mm-hmm.
So
18 is.
I mean, you have to know about 10 different shots on 18 to be able to play it reasonably.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Ooh. Andy, I feel like Andy is. I did
predict Andy to win on Twitter earlier this week when Richard was asking for ideas. So
yeah.
Big thanks to Richard King again for setting up this stream and letting us jabber on here. So that's awesome.
It's always fun to hear yourself talk. You know.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
All right, let's see. Luna's down a couple strokes. Let's see if he can make this. This is probably one of the best setups you can have on this hole. See, that's where I would take advantage of having super spin Build-A-Bag.
I might have even gone low 8.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, so you could go naked 9-iron. You can go.
Well, we try to avoid being naked at tournaments, but
some of us do.
Well, yes, unless you're the mouth.
Not mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. So Yeah, you know, Mike's really not kidding when he says you need to know about 10 shots in 18. This is one of the more, I wouldn't call.
You can go low. You could go low 5 wood there. You could do that.
Yeah.
3 iron. You could do 3 iron, 3 hybrid through there. You could even go 8 wood around the side probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with that top right pin, it makes it more difficult with that going around with the 8 wood just because you have so little room to land back.
Yeah, which is why I'm
slope.
kind of surprised that Luna is not going through the trees. It seems like he seems to shoot through the trees more than he goes around, but obviously,
is that a low 6? You can do a
obviously
low
he knows
6
what
wood
I'm
kind of
doing.
around the right there too. Is a shot I occasionally have to hit.
I usually just opt for hitting the trees in front of me and going in the water.
That
So-
tends to be a popular selection
Yeah.
for all this.
especially in match play. All right, I can't believe I'm about to ask this, but what does WBI mean?
You serious?
Yeah, that's like the one acronym I just can't remember the definition of.
Why don't you Google it? Find out.
Because there's like 18
You've got a
different
Google
definitions.
device there.
Well, I'm sure it's not web intermediaries.
I'm going to make you Google that because you don't know that. I'm going to shame you in front of
That's-
these dozen of people that are listening to this.
All right, so Andy Haas takes game 1.
Warning, bragging. What's the I, you think?
Idiot.
All right.
Incoming.
We're still going to make him Google that, guys.
Yeah.
And gals. All right, so what we got here? So we got match 2. Andy
Yeah,
Haas
so-
up 1-0. And keep in mind, it's a race to 3. If Andy were to win this best of 3, they would play, or best of 5, they would play another best of 5. That would be for all the marbles. So, Ruby Rock, not a course I excel at. It's really impressive to see these guys play this course because occasionally you'll get a look where 1, which we're about to see, is drivable.
Luna's character.
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Change it up.
that is hilarious. Yeah, I can't find.
I
the
don't think we
definition.
have an ace on 1 this year, though, do we? I haven't seen that as a shot of the week. So, I mean, you can certainly get yourself up there for a chip, but I haven't seen an ace on it.
No, I think you're right. I'll have to double check with Adam, but I'm pretty sure we've never seen a hole in one on hole 1.
But this is one of those looks. They can, if they would prefer, they can get one up there probably 25, 30 yards and leave themselves a little chip at it. So,
Yeah, this is actually Ruby is always an interesting course when it goes into extras, especially if hole 1 sets up for a chip. Unfortunately, you know, this 403 setup, it's not. I mean, it's not terrible. You can get up there for a good chip, but you can't. You know, depends on how strong your C3 is.
it's way stronger than your acronym game because you're getting some beef about it right now.
That's all right. D-Money with the explanation that it's.
Yes.
But that doesn't even make any sense.
What do you mean? You're about to brag about a comment. Warning, it's an acronym before you post something where you're about to...
No, I get that, but the inside, warning, bragging inside. Inside what?
Inside the next comment. Inside the next...
Oh, well.
There's bragging
all right.
inside. There's
Okay.
about to be some bragging that takes place.
My apologies
guys.
for not knowing the definition.
After that, I'm going to go smoke a cigarette. Kevin can handle this for about 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, I think we're waiting on a bathroom break right now anyway, so.
I know. I just wanted to shame you.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
going to buy him a shot for that. It's another good,
I'll just
good
sit
thing
here.
about these Golden Tee tournaments, obviously.
I'd like to either both make or both miss.
All right, so Paul Luna makes the chip on hole 1, but Andy is not far away, has a little bit shorter of a chip. And as you guys probably know, and if you don't, you'll see it. Andy Haas has probably one of the best thumb games in history of Golden Tee. Wow. Doinked off the flag stick. Yes, this is the championship match, so it's a best of 5. It's a race to 3. So it's a race to 3 wins. Huh? Cool. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's exactly what Mike and I were talking about. So, if Andy wins the best of 5, the race to 3 wins, if he gets 3 wins first, then we will go another race to 3 to determine the winner. If Paul Luna is the first to achieve 3 victories, then Paul Luna is the 2017 Indy Open winner. Which Paul Luna actually won last year's, which is why you see him plastered all over the building.
Look at Kurt Warner's wife. Kurt Warner's wife is there. She's got like I think he should have been disqualified from the Hall of Fame. They're telling me on the fact that he wore a glove when he threw it. And he what? He throws it with a glove. Yeah, it's like you're not. How come they can't get cheese right?
All right, so Richard King is working on getting a mic set up so we can hear a little bit of the back and forth banter between Paul Luna and Andy Haas. Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's the nice part of the best of 5, or excuse me, the race to 3 wins, and the fact that you can only play once on each course. So these guys are going to play a cycle on 2017 courses. There's no spinning and drawing Ruby Rock 3 or 4 times. You're going to get a wide variety of selection.
Too easy, too easy.
Yeah. Wow. All right, so Andy hits the water on hole 7, the par 5, after just watering the drivable par 4, hole 6. Luckily, he made his birdie chip, so he's not down too much, but it's interesting because they traded places. Andy was on fire the first game, and Luna just couldn't come back. And now you see Andy making a few mistakes. But the fact that it's a race to 3 wins, as Mike and I talked a little bit earlier when we first joined here, it sucks when you're down 4 strokes after 7. A couple back-to-back water balls, but it's not the end of the world. You still have a chance. There's plenty of games. You're still okay, and it looks like wow. Okay, so it looks like Andy has decided to DNF after being down 4 after 7. So Luna and Haas both have 1 win. You're fine.
Are you flying out tonight? Oh, that's fine. I was thinking you're going back to Houston. That would drive me. I've never been here. I swear, I've never tried that.
Still can't believe that picture. You used the worst pictures of me in promotions. Just like all right, so we are working on giving you a quick little update. We are going to work on giving you an update to the amateur bracket. It is Zach Pilger versus, what's Adam's last name? Adam. Okay, so we will give you a quick little update on the amateur. What?
Oh, really good shot there by Paul. That just dozed the edge. Thanks, Richard.
Okay, so after the 19th time of me trying to start that and then getting interrupted, quick update on the amateur bracket finals match. It is
it's also a race to 3.
yes.
So we've got Zach Pilger and Adam Burkett.
I couldn't say his last name for some reason. And right now those guys are playing on Juniper Falls.
And for both of these guys, it's the first time they've been in a finals match, so it's really cool to see 2 guys that have gone to a lot of tournaments and have a chance to win some money here this week.
You know, Zach would be offended because he is the purple.
He's a pink bracket champion. It certainly doesn't count.
Is that the one?
Yeah, if you ask him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want that bathrobe. I don't want to know where it's gone. I don't want to know anything about that. About that pink bracket champion.
Gary Sheldon texts me. Cags goes, World Bank Institute. God,
Yeah, please send your best WBI acronyms to Kevin Lindsay at I'mAnIdiot.com.
so we are on game 3
Bye, Matt Kavanaugh. Love you.
by Dr. Kavanaugh. All right, so we are at game 3 of Paul Luna versus Andy Haas, a rematch from the 2016 Indy Open. I don't know why, but all weekend I wanted to call it the Indy City Open.
Oh. Both these guys have been here before. They played in it last year. Just had an epic match last year.
What game were you televising?
Both.
We're doing the final right now.
We've got the attention-craving amateur bracket asking which one we're televising, which we lied to them and said both. So
I did not do anything. You're involved in this.
My first
have we ever figured out how a player's handicap is actually the algorithm for that? Because I just noticed that Paul's just popped up 30.60, which is maybe the highest I've ever seen in terms of a handicap. Do you know? I just think that's a question a lot of people have always asked, but I really don't know the answer to it.
No, I honestly, I couldn't tell you. That's the one thing that
I feel like your good rounds are kind of weighted a little bit more than your bad rounds are in terms of, where you are. But
yeah,
a lot of these tournaments do have handicap tournaments, so it's just information. I was wondering if you.
Yeah, no, that's something we'll have to get back to everybody on. I honestly don't know how that's calculated. That's a really good question, though.
We'll pull up the comments.
Oh,
see if we got any acronyms, acronym love there. World Bank Institute.
Wow. Poor Adam. Yes, Haas was down 4 after 7, I believe.
In the second match. And
in the second
went
match
ahead,
on Ruby Rock.
Went ahead and called that a day.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have a potential 5-game series.
Well, I mean, these guys have families and things to go back to as well. So
Right.
We all get it.
Absolutely.
We've all been there. So anybody else in that 50-player tournament, you can thank Andy for that DNF. Normally that would be one he'd come back and shoot a 27 on and point somebody out of 5th. But
Yeah,
he went ahead and gave one to the field there.
That's the rare Andy Haas DNF. I think somebody, if you take a screenshot, if you're in that Ruby Rock contest where Andy Haas is at number 50 with the DNF, and take a picture and post it on social media, I will send you a Golden Team T-shirt.
Yeah, I'll buy you a shot at the next tournament.
That's a rarity. Warner Brothers King.
All right, so what are we looking at in this match? On this hole, once again, ton of layup options. I think that middle play is always the safe play if you can get there.
Yeah, I've actually found myself this weekend going left, high tee, because I've had a lot of wins. How do I describe it? So a lot of top left pins on this hole with a lot of wins at the face.
And I think it probably took me 4,000 or 5,000 games to feel comfortable enough to even, hey, I can lay up here and know that I've got this win with this shot. But that's a huge step, I think, for a lot of guys that are probably starting out, is really think about where your layup shots are going. I mean, these guys they know exactly what club they're going to have in on their second shot. They're trying to hone in and give themselves a chance to.
It may not look like it because these guys play so quick and so well, but they've played thousands of games on these courses to know the ins and outs.
Sure.
And find those layup spots, find those shots that potentially are one two-stroke advantage when it comes down to it.
This is going to be probably a thummy 5-iron or 5-iron fight for both of them. Pretty similar shots, still tied up here, and whoever wins this match really has just a massive advantage going into the final 2 courses. So they've played Ruby. This is Teal. They've already played. What's the first match on? Pine.
Yes, Pine.
So they'll have Juniper and Sandy, both scoreable courses still to play. If it were to go 5, so for those of you that may just be joining us.
Yeah, BCS. I couldn't give you an official IT answer on that, but I'm going to give you my best guess, which I think is it's partially a way to prevent sandbagging. So if a player is shooting, we've had instances in the past where players have shot poor scores so they can, rake up the cash in the silver bracket, the up and coming player bracket. That's another one of those I couldn't give you an official company answer on, but something I can look into, find the answer for. Danny Boy with the quit trying to angle the system comment. Yeah.
Weird. Danny Boy's the one that has so many W's in his name. Who would have thought?
Right. Yeah, I asked when he first popped up. I asked, "Who is that?" And 3 seconds later, I was, "Oh, nope, it's Danny Boy." So.
Hi, Danny.
Hole 13.
Glad you're watching.
Hole 13 here on Teal Gardens in Japan.
So he's going for the one clicky.
Yeah, no, they both did that. That's the thing, especially for the new players out there that see that look and go in the water because they try to go straight at it and play the wind. You have to be willing to take a gamble,
try new
things. Exactly.
They clearly were hitting an A1 shot in there of some type. It's
Yes.
just whatever speed, and they felt they could dial in the speed on that cut and really get one that was going towards the hole, have a chance to go in. Obviously, they both pointed it. So.
Yeah. No, it's. I thought for a second, Paul, he might go for this. This is actually a good look.
Yeah. When Paul was on earlier, we mentioned that this is a hole that has been aced a couple times this year. I've seen Eddie G and Ken's both do it.
Those are the two that I remember.
Once again, but you got to weigh the risk and the reward, and
there's money on the line here. There's a tournament to be won, so I can absolutely understand why he didn't go for that. It's Mike Johnston, Danny Boy. He was asking. He couldn't tell who you were by the sweet sound of your voice.
So, and honestly, both those shots scared me a little bit just because the back of that green is extremely slippery.
Yes.
And I have gone wet on that a lot of times where I didn't think it was possible I could go wet. So both those shots made me a little nervous, but they're still tied going into home stretch here, heading into 15. Another hole that's got multiple layup spots.
And it's funny because you see great shot points, and it's like a 40,000 difference. Andy with 67,000 shot points, but still tied after 14 holes.
Yeah. It just means there's a lot of really good shots that didn't quite go in, but absolutely could have. It's just a really high level of play for these guys on a consistent basis.
Hence why we are sitting behind the commentary booth and not Paul.
Exactly. I went 2 and 2. I was all right with that.
I went 6 and 1.
You must have been the pink.
It was me by myself.
Didn't you shoot a 9 on Juniper yesterday? Somebody posted something.
It was Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was also.
I'd like you to walk us through that round at some point, maybe when they're in between games.
Oh, absolutely. I'll give you the quick rundown.
Let's focus on this for now. We got a time match going into 16.
I was up 20 hours. That's end of story. Oh.
All right.
Wow.
And
you just jinxed him.
12-1-hour win. I mean, it's a really dangerous pin. You've got to be so precise on that shot, and it's so easy to do that.
Yeah, and there's not a good layup spot here. Even if you try to play it safe, you're leaving yourself with a long putt. So, but you still have 17, the bell hole, and an 18 isn't always the easiest to get through those bamboo stick trees, whatever you want to call them.
Great chip there.
As long as it's chip. The fact that Andy made that chip, you can't be. I don't think he's too worried.
And there's a lot of spots they could have dropped him. I think that's a pretty common drop spot there.
Yeah, that was a good one, especially with the wind setup. You could just force a 5-iron right in the hole. So
and this is not so. Yeah. The fact that he kept it within one there is huge because 17 and 18 can be. Yeah, as you can see right here. I mean, this is going to be. Take a big old C, probably 2.5 there. Type of high
maybe almost I would say maybe a C. 2.75. I don't know that you
somewhere there.
Yeah, you got to do a lot to combat that 60 mile an hour wind.
All right, so we're going to head into 18 with Luna up by 1 stroke and a chance to take a 2-1 lead in this series. And if he does win this race to 3, He will be the Indy Open champ. If Haas were to win this set of best-of-5 matches, we would do another round of best-of-5.
Yep, absolutely. And for everybody's sake, I hope Paul Luna doesn't win because he can't be on the poster.
Well, I'd like to mention that last year he stayed at my house because I live a block from here and won the championship. And this year he was planning on it, but he apparently forgot to bring an air mattress. So that's our world champion right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Indy Open champion there. World champ is former world champ would be Andy Haas, but Paul certainly got the game to be one.
Absolutely. So basically, the long story short is that you were to blame for Paul Luna.
No, I'm taking all the credit. I took it last year. Like, it's where he slept last year is nobody's allowed to walk there in my house. It's a sacred zone.
Cornered off, roped off.
Pretty much. So,
all right.
With this situation, Andy pretty much has to try to make this.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul's got that putt. It's probably a 98% putt for Paul. I mean, the only reason it wouldn't be 100% putt is because there's pressure involved.
Yeah, I was going to say Andy's got to go for it from the right side because that pin placement. All right, so
it's going to be 2-1 more than likely after Paul cleans this up.
Yeah, unless he somehow waters this, I think it'd be. Wow, that for a second that looked like it was going wide right. I don't know why, but all right. So after 3 games, Paul Luna is up 2-1 against Andy Haas.
So we got Juniper or Sandy coming up.
Absolutely, and if you download the Golden Tee Caddy app on an Android or Apple device, you can actually use your cell phone or your tablet's location to find a machine nearest you. But it's a combination of dealing with old hardware, and we've got some things coming in the works to hopefully help get those older machines upgraded, because it really puts a strain on the Golden Tee team. We have to build these courses to work with all of our existing equipment. And one of these days we'll share some behind-the-scenes photos of the massive QA area that we have, because they have to test on, you know, a couple dozen different setups of Golden Tee equipment. So I would check with your vendor and see how old the hardware is in there. And
we do have a request here to show the other match for maybe a couple holes. You want to switch over there and maybe show for a hole or two?
Yeah, we'll.
I'm going to just hold out, so there you go.
We're going to wait a few minutes because they're only on hole 1, so I don't want to.
Okay.
Those, you know, the first.
We
couple,
will get to that.
yeah,
Well, we'll keep you updated on that, just because probably haven't been doing a good enough job of keeping you updated on the scores on that. But
yeah.
So Luna holes out on 1, which we were just talking about. This is a course that we had the potential to see a lot of extra holes on, perhaps, if they both played it clean.
Actually,
getting that eagle on 1.
Both Juniper and Sandy can play. They're probably. Isn't that what I believe? A couple of the OT matches they had in the King of the Hill match, wasn't it? I believe that was Sandy. Maybe I can't remember now. So many matches going on right now, but.
Yeah, the King of the Hill match was, Juniper went quite a bit extra.
Yeah.
But the fact that he gets that early, so not only does he have two games to 1, but now he's got that stroke advantage, and that, if nothing else, at least lets him breathe a little bit easier. You know, if you were to make a mistake or God forbid anything like that,
yeah,
he's got that buffer. He's got that buffer. So.
Yeah. Whereas if you were Kevin Lindsay,
that was a really easy look on 1.
I've never seen it.
It was a 400-yard look. So what he did there was. Maybe what they both did there was try to get as close as they could for a chip.
Yeah.
Paul made his.
And if you're Kevin Lindsay, you get up a stroke and then you lose it within 2 or 3 holes.
You go in the water immediately. That's what I do.
Yeah,
that's what all the cool kids do.
Yeah, it's the penalty mode that everyone talks about.
Hole in 1, insta water.
Yep. Pretty much. So both these guys just right around the cup on the first par 3 of Juniper.
And to answer your question, they weren't really playing a match. Both these matches going on pretty much identical times. So when they were taking a break, the other was taking a break. So we do apologize. We'll keep you updated on their scores, though. Zach won the first match, right? Yes.
Hole 2.
So on this one, Kevin, I had a conversation with Paul about this. You got Paul, who's laying up on that top tier there on 5 on this hole they're playing, and Andy laid up on the bottom tier. And they've been pretty consistent with playing a different approach there. Do you go top or bottom on that typically?
You know, it's weird. And this is probably why Juniper is not one of my best courses. I kind of change it up every once in a while.
Yeah. Just depending on the wind?
Yeah, I think the wind's the biggest factor for me. I've had a couple of times where I've tried to go on that top part, and depending on the wind, I've dropped into the rough. And once you get in that rough, you know, you're already down a stroke. So I
think there's
on the
way
wind.
more risk to go up on that top one.
Yeah.
You can always get there from that bottom. You can have
it
might be a 3-wood, it might be a 4-wood,
it might
5-wood,
not
6-wood,
set you up straight at the hole, but there's always a way to get there on the green
this
too.
Hole right here is the reason I have a 10.5-degree driver on this course. So build a bag has helped me out immensely there. I do carry 2 drivers on this, as I think most of the guys that are way better than me have shown me.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea to carry 2 drivers on certain courses.
Yeah, the 2017 course is really, there's a couple of holes that were designed well, and I don't know if Jim Zielinski did it purposefully, but it took me a couple of tournaments on these courses before I finally broke down and said, all right, I'll put the 10.5 driver in there. And especially on Sandy Reef, more than Juniper, at least for me personally, the 10.5 driver and that extra loft you get really makes a difference.
All right, so Andy Haas is down 1 stroke to Paul Luna. This is their 4th match in a race for 3. Luna is up 2 matches to 1. So if Paul wins this, he was king of the hill, so he has not lost a match. Or excuse me, he's lost a match, but he's not lost a set of matches,
series,
if you will. Exactly, a series.
See, that's where I was earlier I was going back and forth on what to call it to give people the best explanation.
And I mean, there's been some unbelievable matches that you haven't been on the live feed this weekend, and Old Pro Stable's been a great host for that. We had a great setup here. Everybody's had a great time. So
Yeah, for 12 machines and as many guys that are here, this has been very comfortable and wonderful.
Oh, really good shot there. Yeah, almost took a two-stroke lead there.
Yeah, no, and we talked about hole 5, the last par 4, playing a different setup and or a different approach, and the same thing with this hole 7. Andy opted to go wide, go to the left and do a C3 and have an iron shot, whereas Luna took his approach with the woods, and so you'll see that a lot on Juniper, especially. There's a couple different ways you can go, and
this hole right here, this look right here, has made me want to quit the game before.
Yeah, I have not seen a good look on hole 8 of Juniper all week.
Just this particular pin, it's made me contemplate terrible, terrible things. And that's a really easy result right there. And he's weighing his options. He's up once. He's going worst case scenario, I'll get in that trap. I might be able to make that chip.
Yeah.
Really good shot there.
Yeah, Andy got a real lovely fringe bounce. Really quickly, I want to go to the comments. Adam, I'm not even going to try to say your last name. Adam V had a good question about next generation Golden Tee.
It's pronounced Van Landingham.
Yeah, well, at the rate I'm pronouncing stuff, I didn't want to, mess it up. So,
I just got a dirty one.
From you. Oh, I didn't even. It's just my resting dirty look face. So right now there is not a new generation of Golden Tee in the works. I can't honestly comment on the future that much because as of what I know, we're sticking with the live format right now. It seems to be working very well on the player side. The players really enjoy the ability to play so many contests a day, have that live, head-to-head feature. 2018, this year, we're adding real-time scoring, so you will see hole by hole scores. So you'll no longer see that Paul Luna has a 31 in first place. You're going to see what Paul Luna shot after hole 1. So real-time scoring helps add to that live aspect of the game. But right now, we're focusing on bringing back the public Golden Tee 4 courses for 2018. Are you
allowed to let the cat out of the bag on that yet?
No, not yet. But
when are we allowed to let the cat out of the bag on that?
I'll just say by the end of August. It'll most likely be in the next couple weeks, but there's just so much content. New content, new fresh things coming out with 2018 that it's hard to cover them all without, overloading people. So those Golden Tee 4 courses, I can mention
really
that December 1st, you guys will see a preview of one of the courses on.
So it won't be out at the same time as the other ones.
Right.
Off the bat.
Yep.
Okay.
So December 1st, we'll see a Golden Tee 4 course as a Freaky Friday.
Is that going to replace the Classic Course of the Week then?
No.
So we'll still potentially have that?
So as of April, we will have 8 prize play courses. The 5 2018s, the 2 Golden Tee 4, and the Classic Course of the Week. So right now we're just kind of riding the Golden Tee high, as I'll call it, because players are happy. Our development team has been really strong the last couple of years in adding new and exciting features. So it's a good time to be a fan of Golden Tee. Good time.
I've only seen more and more people coming in interested in it. So
yeah.
I think tournaments like this really help out. So if you can support any tournaments that are local to you, that may not be, a national event, but I mean, we've got players from there's a guy that was here this week from Long Beach, California. It's the first tournament he'd ever been to.
Oh, really?
Which is super cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
You end up meeting lots of good friends. So
yeah, and I agree.
We get a
score
update on that Zach and Adam match real quick. I haven't really paid attention to that.
Wow. All right, so after hole 7 on Pine Coast, it is tied at 7. Or excuse me, tied at 10 after 7.
So they're even through 7.
Yeah, even through 7.
Amateur final match. Luna's still up 1 in this one.
Yep.
Going to one of the more fun holes in this year's game, in my opinion. There's a lot of different options.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. This hole has probably 5 different options I've seen over the years.
Over the years? You played this course years ago?
Yep. 1996 I first played this course.
It's amazing.
What I meant to say was over the months. Golden Tee's in my brain. I'm just so engaged with it.
You've played Golden Tee a lot longer than I have, so you've played some of those 4 courses. I mean, what was the decision-making process like when it came to picking the 2? That had to be difficult, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so that was done a little bit before I had started at IT in March. But I do know,
really good shot.
I do know a lot of it is, a lot of it was data-driven. You know, in terms of courses that are, you know, were high in popularity, but also at the same time, it came down to the design aspect as well. Our artists drew up some tools that allowed us to take the original data from those 3D, the 3D data and models from those courses, and basically replace all those old models with new. So we took, you know, the trees from one course and updated it with a new, you know, obviously technology and design changes over, you know, 10, 15 years.
How true to, I'm sure obviously you're still in the design phase on some of that, I'm guessing, but how, in terms of yardages and things like that, will be pretty similar?
Yeah, so from what I can tell out of both courses, that both Golden Tee 4 courses are about as true as you can get, with the addition of, I know Jim added a few tee boxes to holes just to kind of change up things a bit, but nothing crazy. The yardages basically stay the same.
Andy's going to try to drive us to get the stroke back.
Oh, and he did it.
Unbelievable shot in that environment to be able to do that. So he's going to, if he's able to make that putt,
but we've seen a couple of hole outs from this hole from these guys throughout the weekend.
This is a great look for Paul, too. Yeah. He can definitely hold this up. So, but if, you know, Paul were to make the standard birdie here and Andy were to make that putt, we'd have a tie ball game going into.
Yeah, but you know, and of course it's, ooh, wow, it is Andy, but it's not a gimme putt. Even for somebody with the golden thumbs, as Andy Haas probably has.
Great. So now,
all right, so we are tied.
Yeah, back even.
24 after.
And as predicted, this is one where we could see some extra holes, and it's kind of going that way.
I don't know. I have this feeling that hole 17 and 18 are going to set up extremely easy, just so we can continue to see.
I want to see a hole. I want to see somebody win this with a hole out.
Oh, it'll happen after like 60 holes of OT.
Possibly.
Dave Sandmeyer listening to our live commentary through the headset he has down in the back here.
Did it very well in the amateur division. Finished 3rd place.
He should be playing right now, but he lost. So that's why he's sitting there.
He's got a bad case of the beer burps.
He's sitting there listening to our commentary.
Really, really important chip here for me. This is just so touchy.
Yep. Wow.
We've all done it. I mean, I'm
kind of surprised he didn't. I'm kind of surprised he didn't putt it.
Nobody wants to putt that either. I mean, it's either.
Yeah, but you know it's down 8, and even though you'd be putting through the rough, it still is better, I think, than chipping.
So as we said, yeah, it's I'm sure the reason they're quitting that game is because Paul's going to go ahead and give that win to Andy. He's going to say that, you know, 5 or 6 strokes, whatever it would have been there going into 17 was too much for him to overcome. So they're going to head to the 5th and final match.
Yep.
Possibly final.
Sandy, you know, Sandy has the ability to set up just like Juniper for a lot of holes of OT.
I kind of want to talk about that drive Andy hit on.
Bad shot in that club. 8 putt, get out of them. 10 putts. I don't walk in here by accident because I was going, well, I drive this evening. He does where he doesn't turn right when he swings at it and kind of. And then he's got the 400 there.
I think we're back with you now.
Sorry about that. Just clarifying a few things with our team here. All right, so you think there's pressure on Andy right now?
I mean, there was pressure on him on that drive on 15. If he doesn't execute that drive on 15 on Juniper, he loses the match. If he goes wet there, he loses the match.
Yeah.
More than likely. And the fact that he executed and then hit the putt,
yeah, and it's
put
crazy.
the pressure right back on Paul.
And we saw the next hole.
Here we are. We're in match 5.
Yeah, match 5.
So a course where they're both capable of shooting 31, 32 under on it.
Yeah. So
if they're hitting all their shots.
Paul wins the match, he wins the 2017 Indy Open. If Haas wins, we're going to go into another race to 3 wins.
Yep. And that's because this is technically every match in the winner's bracket of this tournament has been a race to 2 wins. It was decided months before the tournament that the finals would be a race to 3. So
yeah.
So this has been decided for quite some time. So if Andy were to win this match, he would technically have only beaten Paul in one series. So.
Really, Dave? Really? That's a good Photoshop job.
So in the amateur division, we've got Adam Burkett hitting a shot on the always dicey 12th hole on Pine. And he is at 16 under. I'll give you Zach's score when I see that here in a second. But they've got a good match going. They were tied a few holes back. I think they're still really close. Zach did win the first match. Zach Pilgrim.
Yeah, it looks like Zach had a really good shot on this hole. This is a tough. I always end up in the sand here. There's no playing safe with me in this hole.
I've gotten a couple scabby aces on. I'm not going to on Pine.
Wow.
So Adam did go one on that. But yeah, they've got a good match brewing. They're doing also a race to 3 wins on that side as well for the championship of the amateur division. And the way they decided the pro and the amateur divisions in this tournament was kind of cool because they did it based off of your world ranking, which you can find on GoldenTee.com.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can look, and it takes your best score from each of the 5 live courses every month, so it always resets on the first of the month and goes through the end of the month. And it takes your best score on each of those courses and your best great shot points, if they happen to coincide in the same round, I guess. But it averages those out. So if you finished in the top 100 in the world, you were considered a pro for this tournament. Mm-hmm. If you were not in there, anytime this year, then you could play in the amateur division. So that was how they decided.
I was threading the needle there. Yeah, I don't think because I haven't been playing as much Golden Tee.
You've been playing all the 2018 courses trying to get a leg up, right?
Exactly. If I don't win the Cincy Open, something's wrong. Des, to answer your question, I believe Andy's playing streaks, but
he does on Pine. I don't know about Sandy.
Yeah, I can't confirm for sure. I didn't see him change his ball type.
I think he's... We'll get that information for you one way or another, though. Give us a second. We'll get that for you. I'm curious about that myself. I know a lot of people like to use it on Pine to try to get the opportunity for hole 4 when it's out there. And that kind of makes sense on some of these holes on Sandy as well, that should be reachable. 14 and 15 come to mind, were sometimes are gettable.
Yeah, and that's where the 10-5 driver comes in.
And next year, isn't there going to be like an altitude gauge or something going on?
How's
that going to work?
Yeah, so the user interface, we started redesigning it last year, and so what you see on the screen now has changed a little bit and matches a little bit more of our current look on the Golden Tee cabinets. And with that addition, or with the changes to the UI, we've added a height meter, so you'll be able to tell the highest altitude, or whatever you want to call it, the highest that your ball traveled. But you're also going to be able to tell if you are on fringe, rough, rock, sand, dirt, etc. You'll actually, underneath where your club is, it will tell you what type of surface you're on.
What about starfish? What if you're on starfish?
I'd have to check. I'm not sure if it identifies objects.
Does it just go like Limp Bizkit?
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
Yeah. Cool. No, but that'll be really good because, especially, and I talked about this last night too with Paul Lady. I think it's not going to be a crazy change to tournaments, but I think it'll definitely help because I know, as we've seen in some of these matches here today, knowing whether you're on the fringe or the rough is not always easily identified.
It is if you just look at your lob. Like what I always do, I just go to my lob wedge. If it registers as 41 yards, I'm on the fringe. If
right.
It's 38, I'm in the rough.
Right, but we've seen, at least I've seen a couple of times where somebody's been on the fringe and it's responded as rough.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's, but I think that'll be a good change, and players will now know what type of surface they're hitting off, which is always good to know. Especially for a casual player.
That can't hurt the game to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to probably alleviate some frustration for certain shots, which we can all lower our blood pressure a little bit. That'll be fun. So I believe we're still tied here in the championship match. They're both on par, on golden T par, I should say. This normally sets up as a -14 front 9 if you're doing what you should do. Surprisingly, no points. So that'll probably change real soon.
Yeah, I was going to say it's weird because I think they had over 100,000 combined in the last game.
And that's what they normally do.
Yep.
But both these guys had to win some difficult matches to get to this point. There were other players that could very easily be in their shoes, and it's just they were able to execute the more pressure-packed times. So, been some really, really good matches all weekend long here. Shout out to Clint Grover for winning the Eliminator tournament last night. Also because I finished 3rd in that, I feel like it's important that we talk about that tournament.
I walked away to use the restroom, and I was DNF'd, so I'm not really happy about
Jeff
that.
Sadiak had a good tournament. He finished 2nd in the Eliminator, and he won the doubles tournament with Robert Cody at Indianapolis local. It was in his first tournament. Really cool to see a guy at his first tournament win some money.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
It's always
what's
a good
really cool
feeling.
about these local tournaments, too. You know, you could... Brandon, the people at OPT, and Jason at Game Time came up with some really cool ideas that incorporated pros and amateurs both, and gave it a way more level playing field. And in the process, it's a learning experience for a lot of people. That really good shots.
Yeah, and it's always nice, especially nowadays with the amount of different tournaments we have out there. I think having a different format with some of the different tournaments, it really helps freshen things up.
Yeah.
So Power Events has
you
their
don't want anything
way.
to be stale.
Yeah, Power Events has their way that does it. Indy Open does it another way. It's always good to look for alternatives. You're not changing the game by going to a best of 3 on the winner's side or a best of 5 or a race to 3 on the winner's side. But it helps freshen up the tournament experience.
Sure. And there was all sorts of ideas. If you have some ideas, go to your local vendor about it. Set up your own tournament. Post it on Golden Tee Fan, like you said.
So Dave wanted me to tell you that he won the amateur elimination tournament.
That's not a real thing, Dave. So Beer Burps finished 1st and 3rd this weekend. Another guy on the podium 2 times. There we go. I'm fine with that. Deserves a shout out. And if those of you are wondering, maybe just tuning in, this is the 5th match of a best of 5 for potentially the title, the Indy Open right now. If Paul Anthony Luna wins this match, he will be the champion. If Andy Haas wins, they will have to go to another best of 5. They're tied. Paul is...
Yeah, he went in the water 3 times on 16.
Oh, yeah. It's happened a few times, but not a lot. No, it was a good match.
We're just chatting with our bartender, the Murder Boner here. It's not NSFW. Do you know what that means? You're terrible with acronyms. Do you know what NSFW?
I was terrible with one acronym. Who even uses WBI?
You can't pronounce Van Landingham either. Come on.
I know. I didn't want to try it.
All right, so we've broken the cherry on points
13
here.
holes to get some shotties.
No, I mean they've had several the last few. We've been kind of dicking around and not paying attention to it.
I've been being harassed. There is literally a difference of 35 shotties between.
So what do you normally hit on this hole? So I know there very rarely it does kind of set up where you can, if you just absolutely blast it, some people call it 180 it, you can get this green and have a double eagle putt. I've done it one time.
I've never seen anybody do a 180. I've seen mouth ace this hole going C3. I didn't know.
I've gone straight over it.
I've never seen that. I've never had a
straight
win
over
this
with a
strong.
10.5, and granted it was dumb luck, but I mean I'm probably
probably playing casual.
one for 12.
Yeah,
something
right.
like that. I haven't gone for it very many times.
Yeah. So the look.
There he goes.
Wow, Paul Luna with the hole out.
Better than most. Better than most.
So I actually like this setup. 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. If I don't go in the water, I usually go with this setup. I have the hybrid, so I like having that soft roll.
If you're watching at home, I would just do whatever Luna did right there because that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So Luna's up one here.
He's
and
played
once
Golden Tee
again,
a few times.
just in case you're. All right, so this is going to be drivable. I'd go 3-wood backspin here personally and just blast him. I mean, that's what I would do. 3-wood.
And that's
high,
why you're sitting behind the commentary desk.
Blast him. That's what I would do. A lot of people go around the left side. I think with it that far back in the tee box, it makes it really difficult to go around the left side.
Now, with this being 388, would you consider taking the 3-wood and doing a big C3 going to the right?
No, just because I'm not really good at that shot. I'm not saying it's not a play. It very well maybe. I would just, because worst case scenario most times, if he hits this high, let's see what he's going to do here. If you hit that high 3 and
no, Luna's got.
There you go.
Luna
yeah,
has
that gap's there all day.
Luna has the 10-5.
Yeah, but that gap's there all day. So
yeah.
As long as you hit it hard and hit it correctly,
all right,
it should clear them.
What's the likelihood that Haas nails this to tie it up?
I learned a long time ago not to doubt Andy Haas's ability to pull shots out. So. Zach Pilger won the second match of the amateur finals.
Yeah, I'm sure
Adam Burkett is being a general butt scratcher currently. Typical form. So Luna gains a huge extra stroke there. I mean, that's so big. Going to 17 and 18, both have a ton of water. Obviously 16, a ton of water around it. Once again, breathing room. It's just huge.
Wow.
That was a dicey shot, and it worked.
Yeah, now Andy's got to be careful because he has the super spin clubs here, whereas Luna did not have a spin on his clubs. Definitely can take advantage of that, like Andy almost did, but...
Two really good shots on a difficult look there.
Yeah.
They made that look pretty good.
Stace man joining us. Oh, wow.
All right. So
Good thing the FCC doesn't regulate our broadcasts.
You know what FCC stands for?
I know
Getting another
like
cold
95.
stare.
I know like 95% of it.
Really good shot there, but
federal?
really good shot there. Oh my God. Google it.
Wow.
So Andy had to be aggressive with that. He's down 2. Has to be aggressive.
Too aggressive.
I agree that was too aggressive, but I think he's probably a little bit on tilt right now, which is a real medical condition. Whether or not people believe it, being on tilt's a real thing.
WebMD of that.
So hard to imagine Luna giving up a 3-stroke lead here,
Yeah,
but there's still a lot of pressure on the final hole, and there's a lot of things that can happen.
Yeah.
If he puts one in the fairway, he should be able to take this home and win his second straight Indy Open. Should be pretty impressive.
Yeah, Federal
And
Communications Commission was exactly what I was going to say. You started to give me a hard time.
You didn't say it though.
No, because you were making fun of me. I
don't even know what happened there. But, I mean, Andy's laughing, so.
Do this and like.
I don't think that was a laugh of real humor.
Wow. I think he was going to spin.
This is where you just kind of hope Paul holds it out. Just to end it with the floor. I mean, what are you going to do? If you're Andy Haas, you play 5 matches and you lose to a 31. So be it, you know what I mean? It's unbelievable playing by Paul for the second straight year here.
And Luna had a 31 in the scores earlier in match play. So,
but like we said, I mean,
the 2017 Indy Open champion, back-to-back victories. Unfortunately, that means we're going to see him in that same exact picture on the posters for next year.
no, we're going to get a different picture. So we actually have some really good ones from this weekend.
We're going to take.
He was singing a flock of seagulls last night.
We're going to take a picture of him pointing his left